Hi everyone, it's Jen from Mindseye. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with this week's live for the Saturday. Now there's a lot to be had. It's right off the bat, and you can't even do containment or contentment to any type of contingent, but you really can do a delay on everything that you need to do. So basically, all that is said and all that is true that you can't even do, that you can't even sue it, that you can't even boo it. You have to say, where is Jeff Bezos going with this whole thing? This whole thing. Now, with that being said, you just can't even understand how well it would be. But basically, this Jack of Clubs coming in is so nasty. It's like a four-leaf clover that was delayed, that's not lucky. So I don't know where that's coming from. I do see something of a Georgia, a South, not to be known if it's the country or if it is the state, but you just don't even know, even if it's the state of mind, because the King of Clubs is going to come in and it's going to literally be nasty, absolutely nasty. You can't even see it, like you can't do a continuing education on it. And it is related that I can see as a psychic with DEI, but really it's a no can do on the table. You have to sit and you have to watch it. So when I look at it and you actually see it, that you have to literally be leery about it. And when you are leery about it, you have to look at it completely. This Nine of Diamonds is going to come in as a cut through. Now, we do have the new moon coming in. And like I had said in the new moon video, is that the full moon is going to literally come down like a Mercury retrograde with planetary measure. Planetary measure is almost like a 300 grade of a cut through of energy right to the new moon. And it's going to be so cold and so harsh that you can't even hash out. So when you actually look at it, I have to say, it has a way of trolling everything. The 10 of clubs actually says you can then afterwards put it on the table. But around the 31st, there was something about it. Absolutely something about it. You have to excuse me. It truly is. It truly is nasty with this 10 of spades. So when I look at like on a Thursday and it says that you just can't do anything, you have to say, who do you? Who do you? Because the Nine of Clubs says after all those moons and all those energies come through with the issues around the table with politics right now, with the deportations and DEI and other things that has happened in California, especially with FEMA, you don't even want to know. It's truly, everyone just went rancid. So this 5 of spades is like a spears, and it's exactly what you're thinking. It's exactly what you're thinking. Is it what we saw? Is it that plain sight? I don't think so. But this Ace of Diamonds is actually meaning by that Thursday near the 31st, by February 2nd, that I can see it's going to slow down. It's going to slow down hard, really hard. Now with this, the Queen of Clubs literally says, you can go and you can start doing things as normal. It was like you're settled in with this new administration, whether you have qualms about it or not. But really, when this 3 of spades comes in, it's around the second week of February where medical and other people are a little more happy with the way things turned out, because there was just something that was just so unsettling, just about a glove missing out of a box, that you couldn't even get the right medications OTC. So lastly, out of this deck, the 3 of clubs after that, I'm seeing medical come through for the next week, and I'm seeing them doing this. They're all masked up again and gloved. It's all universal precautions. So when I'm seeing the Joker, that was a lie. There it is, LYRE. So literally, we're going to start talking about the Middle East. That's the energy at the bottom of this deck. It's the 9 of spades. Let's go right to the wood runes and to the peach moonstone runes. Alrighty. Oh Lord, peach moonstone runes. Alright. Awas. This is literally the strength of that energy flowing over towards us. When you see Raido, it is energy current flowing through, as is wind currents. So when I see Ingwa and it means living, it's going to run right through us. It's harsh energy running right through. So you're just not going to feel right. It's going to cause a lot of freeze. A lot of freeze. So defensive, highly defensive. So when we are talking about this like gray, like opaque, like energy, like a fog, I have to say it might linger because it's stuck due to wind currents. So when I see Bacana, it really is kind of a birth of something new that society has caught on to, about being leery of being outside at certain times of the day, but also too like a certain smell comes in and a certain taste in their mouth, and they stay indoors with a air purifier. So when I look at this and it says a type of torching, it's really like an ending, because I'm seeing a lot of acid reflux. So when I see instinct and intuition with this rune, it has to do with the warrior. These are the veterans that are hyper vigilant right now because they've gone through it already. It is a flip of fate of card. It is no poker card, but it really is the hangman at times. So when I see Uras in power, you'd have to say that those incidences of bombings and mortars on anything else going on over there with wind current, it actually is so strong that we're getting a taste of it in our mouth. So when I see this, which is Fei Hu, you have to say that this ashing with wind current and storms escalated and amplified our hurricanes. That's what I can see. So when I see Lagu, it flowed well. It flowed well. It was really hard to say, but it is a type of sorcery, but not someone conjuring, like specifically. So when I look at this and it says Sowo, which is strength, this I'm seeing a 3-4. Wunho actually means joy. Like they were happy with us. That's why I feel like this some days. So when I see it, I actually have to look like almost like a wind chap, even just going outside a little bit. I'm seeing it around the noses a lot. And I'm also seeing it how it plays out in daily life on a kick up of a tick up in the house with what I used to call angst. It is something hidden within. That's all the energy is saying right now. Something hidden within, and it's not a game, but it's something of a like a giddy up, a harvest giddy up. Horse, like it would say horse, but it's not horse. Like the voice. It's a gift. It's an absolute gift. I have to say, what is this gift? It is a wheel of luck. So when I see Dega, I have to say it is something on the table that's a wooden box. Alrighty. Let's look at the wood runes. See what we can get out of that. There we go. Trolling. It definitely brings in trolling. It has a lot of strength. That current gives them a lot of joy. I just heard it gives us a lot of joy. It gives us a phrase. Water. There's something about water with this type of concoction of what's coming in the wind current. Watch the waters. Ill fate. Ill fate. Not to scare or warmonger or fearmonger, but use your intuition and instinct. You already know what to do. It will literally be a game trying to get things that you need if you find a problem on your property or in anywhere else, but you're gonna get it. It's like trying to pull strings and teeth. Heritage and culture, it all comes together all of a sudden. Those in certain houses and families all of a sudden start remembering certain things that work. And then with this, when I have to say it, it has to do with wood stoves. Those who have wood stoves or pellet stoves, they actually benefit really well. Like they almost need to be dry, a little more dry. So that is something of a gift. And those who do not have that, actually keeping the house, they would say a little, but I would say with oil, a little more cool. It's kind of odd. So usually when it's odd, it's called a type of like a reconnaissance, a resistance, a revy up of a relay, of a revere, of a reverie, of a get a dawn. It's going to cause a little bit of havoc, especially on a ride in, and it's inconsistency, which a lot of people don't like with their temperature, and where they especially in the winter, they like keeping it, but it's something about this up down that keeps it like a level keel, a KIEL. So that is where that power is, at least for our living. And like I said, it's like a ride through, like a guide through, a seeing through that is known. All right, let's look at the tarot. Right here. So whatever it is, it wants this one. And this is the Wild Unknown Tarot. So it wants to be in the house. That's why we keep hearing hunker down, lock it down for the winter. But when you see this, that's the driving force. That's the Chariot. It's severe solitude. Severe solitude. This is a destabilization of communication, like the COVID lockdown, but really it's meant to be alone. A lot of people are like, you're not even supposed to really be like I'm seeing a lot of houses not communicating. It is like a degree of ill judgment, like bad judgment at times, but I'm seeing no lone los bay, that even certain things that are going on in the community have not the best of a dictatorship per se, but they are aware of how it's playing out. They've seen it before. What I'm seeing is actual SCENE. Now, when I look at this and I see the Mother of Swords, which is the Queen of Swords, there is a cutting away. There is a cutting away of logic. So when I'm saying it like that, it's not going to make sense on people's behavior right now. And that's where actual judgment comes in. Like, what are you doing? I just don't know. All of a sudden, I just don't know. There we go. Now, breaking up of partnerships and contracts, absolutely. That has to do with balances, more ways than one. I keep hearing still, watch the gate. So when I look at it, all forms of the meaning and the spelling, the Son of Pentacles, which is the Page of Pentacles, literally comes through hard. Look at this whole stag here, and you look at the moon and you see the pentacle. That was something that we picked up on during the week also with the a look into the unknown about the occult, on how in the next week potentially it was like a ceiling drop with a golden egg with a pentacle, like the old coins of pentacle. And then something else was coming about because we kept having these instances of it felt like you had to be Men in Black a little bit in the subway for a lack of a better term. So when I see this and I see the 5 of Wands, it definitely has a little bit of a difficulty. And it definitely, you're at rest, you're not fighting, but really it's all about the world. It's all about the world. I don't know why I hear a makeshift martial law. This is very strong. It's very, very strong. The star actually is like fulfilled wishes. And when you see it and you look for it and like your common daily life, you're gonna say, yeah, I've heard it, I've heard it, I've heard it. So when I look at the Mother of Pentacles in reverse, this is a type of selling oneself. That's what they're saying, a type of selling oneself of well. The 7 of Pentacles comes in where you can't even do it at all. You can't even do it. It's skilled work because I'm seeing them actually chisel away and I'm seeing them like clank it out on steel. And like we were seeing with King Arthur in the deep dive, you have the sword and you pull it out of the stone and it has puck marks. This is where the Fool, like the journey starts and everyone's like, cover your mouth. Cover your mouth. It's in a game. Watch the Super Bowl. So when we look at it, when you hear the Mother of Swords in reverse, I hear you can't do it. D-U-E. 9 of Cups in reverse says, can't even see it. And it's a repeat and repeat. So the Mother of Cups comes in and says, no, use your intuition. Well, when you're sitting there and you're actually just running off sheer instinct because you have so much hard energy upon you, you have to say, what is the addiction? What is everything around here? And I said, really, this Devil card in reverse has to do to a go play. Go play. P-L-A-I. Father of Swords, it has to do with legal law enforcement that comes in. This one is almost like a blocking. Legal law enforcement that's military based, known of loan, of zone, that is gone. Gone. They keep saying gone in that way. I don't know why they're saying that. It is I'm having that block of like, don't even, like, it's blocking me. Don't even say it. Don't even say it. This 9 of Pentacles comes in with such prudency that this 7 of Cups in reverse has to say a bit of grandiose thoughts. And then you look at them and you say, are you sure? Are you sure? I heard it, I felt it, I saw it, I watched it. The 5 of Swords says, no, you can't do it. It's going to harm you if you continue with this. And lastly, from this deck is the Daughter of Wands. It literally says that it was too fast of a start that it will actually be put out. That is the whole energy of this. It's going to come in so quick that you can't even think of like a massive deployment. You can't even think of anything like that because we already know how to contain it, maintain it, sustain it. All right. Let's look at the animal spirit oracle. This one is like dust in the face. This has to do with peacock. That is something that is, you want to say colorful, but it really is not colorful. When I see oyster and peacock together, it actually is a toyful play. Exact word, toyful. Moth, this is something that law enforcement would be hunting. Oyster in reverse, you can't contain it. You can't contain it. Cheetah in reverse, you would say a halt stop, but that's breath of life. Something about law enforcement bringing in breath of life. Moth in reverse, once it's found, you can't even see it coming. You can't even see it coming. There we go. I can actually hear almost like child's play. Cheetah. So all it really wants out of this deck is a come in fast and a hard, but do, and I see like not delay, run, delay with me. And it goes back and forth on the coast, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. So that energy, Firefly, I'd actually watch the whole show, the series. All right. Let's look at this deck. What else do we need to know? I see this fishing boat that actually goes out in the Pacific. That's really more in the Gulf. That you can't understand why, but it's going to be significant on finding something. It is definitely pertinent to the South. There is this propelling force that comes forward, especially about the South, especially about FEMA and the hurricanes. But when it gets to the Midwest on a panhandle, you can't even do DOUX. There's hidden motives on that. There's no getting together. You'll hear them say in the meetings, but when they all are out of work, they are getting together, and there's a talk about an aid. Temperance, imbalance, again, watch the gate. Hangman, like there's a hard pause. If you're not watching that gate, it is going to come in on a Tuesday. It has already come through so hard that is highly deceitful of a forced walk away that comes in on this like rebalancing, that this whole thing of severe solitude of being in a house you couldn't understand, but it was logical, absolutely logical. This comes in at like an eyes wide shut of a blindfold, like you're not supposed to know these things, but it really has to do with a loss, actual true LOSS, not LOS that we keep saying to LON. Recklessness, absolute recklessness. So when I see this and I see the Page of Wands, it is a young offer. It is a quick, fiery offer where you can't even believe it would make the family so happy. You have to say, what are you talking about? It's in each area of a state. You're not dreaming. That's what I'm hearing with this 7 of Cups in reverse on this topic. It really is this 10 of Wands that says, no, you need to actually really look at everything. The Knight of Wands in reverse is a cut through of an undercut on the feet of the soil that we keep talking about. And then you have all that energy that this Page of Cups actually comes through and says, no. We're going to take away that offer because it's not of the best of clear. So when I'm looking at this, and I have to say there's no securement as far as monetary. I don't know why I'm looking at IRAs. That's really scary for me. All of a sudden, that came through that communication of loss. Start looking at bank accounts. Start looking at your retirement funds. That came in too quick. Loss of luck. Page of Swords, that came in so hard and so fast with that energy right now that you can't even believe it. Knight of Wands in reverse. You can't even believe how hard it hits and how fast it hits. The Magician, they work their magic so hard and so well and so quick that just the energy, it won't be figured out in an 8 or an infinite symbol until a Tuesday of October of what really happened tonight. Starseed Oracle. That bothers me a lot. All right. Soul memories and gifts. You've done this before. This has happened before. Soul gifts and training. It's time to step up. I'm hearing there's some new things that people learn in the public all of a sudden really quick. Really quick. Isolation, physical connection, community. There's a community coming together all of a sudden. And when you've done it like we've done this before, all of a sudden, I just hear that's all of a sudden. All right, life lessons, soul growth, study, higher learning. I hear people learning in their house a lot. Isolation, physical connection, community. There's something about that. I hear 8 told gold, community-based learning. Defenselessness, right past wrongs, uprooted. They were uprooted. And then I hear that's the influx of the tone, higher learning. All right. Let's look at this. Trust the wave you come on. Time is not running out. It is when people actually hear that something potentially could be affecting their bank accounts, to their retirement, to everything else that's going on in the community, to society, to universally. They're going to say, I don't know, trust the timing on everything. I feel like it is what comes forward towards you and how you react. There's something that needs to be looked a little deeper. And then it says you are connected. There is community, but we just had this come out that there is isolation. It's a counter-aesthetic. A counter-aesthetic when you're a magician means it's polar opposites in a reading, and you have to figure it out. I would have to say it's 36-day delay. So when you say it and you're absorbing what's not yours, you can believe it or not, like those who are super sensitive to energy are having premonitions, whatever is floating around. I would take them seriously. Be patient with those who do have that. All right, let's look at the Akashic Tarot. This is more of the obscurities, the obscenities, the oddities, the occult, what's been hidden, and what we need to know for the next week. There's not much as I wiggle my foot that wants to get loose on that energy. It is a continuance on. I'm seeing a lot of people do mediumship and sitting with ancestors. There's something of documents that they need to review. I do see a library. But there's something about that. Off track, like we said, we keep hearing railroad, crossroads, eyes wide shut, yellow sign. When you look at this and you have the master artisan, it's not creative what comes through. So this, that stands a time, that's the imposter syndrome that a lot of individuals that actually are talking about this when it comes to the hashtag occult tea. Imposter syndrome means you actually have to go about. And they're like, no, I'm not going about. Imposter syndrome is really hard to describe when it's a double-edged sword. So who is acting like who? It's a mimic out. So it is, at plain language, someone who is doing an act who can't get it done. They can't explain it, but it's a type of stolen identity. So when you look at this, you can't even believe it at all. It's not what they wanted, but they can definitely pick up on a few things. There is no key to this. I'm just seeing where we could do with this imposter syndrome. A lot of them don't like hearing this. Basically, you gotta gaff it. Gaff it means you gotta throw energy to cut it away, to see it. All right, Tashana, you're doing training. I see a lot of back and forth with who is training you with housekeeping on proper what they would call like a protocol, like coming into someone's house and learning how to do proper housekeeping, house cleaning. I do see you get hired in August, but I'm seeing like other places actually hiring you, but the one in August is long term. You're not far off. You're almost done with your training, and then it eases out. You're on track. That's actually what I was pulling out. It's like you're caught in the ruins. It's like a type of recovery that people are trying to recover from something that they're not saying. They are being creative and being proper in accordance of everything on training you, but you'll get hired. Hilarion, it's like a continuance on for you. It'll feel like comfortable. Now, as I usually do, as people ask questions, I do relate it back into the collective on how they're doing. So as you ask your questions, I loop it right back into what I was talking about. So as far as that, we were talking about issues with money. We're talking about imposter syndrome, which is someone who is like a twin effect, acting like you. That there's something about making sure that your work sign-offs are okay. There's something about training and continuing education that has to get DONE, your employee terms of contract. There's something, read through it hard before you sign the dotted line complete. Now, it will disrupt like the flow of like a journey of something, a beginning, and you almost have to make amends to meet ends meet, and you'll understand what that means. And like it says, it's like a chess game. You got to just sit and do what you have to do in your training and make sure that they are 100% sure that they did it correctly. Also, it's teamwork right now. But for some reason, it's like dissent. Clearing the way. There's a lot of clarity that needs to come through. Add some. I wouldn't. There's certain things that you just have to say it ends. It just ends. When it comes to the divine position in reverse, it's looking at everything and anything and something to nothing. Even as simple as working at the gas station, you're almost looking at everyone, how they look, their color, their eyes, on how they're behaving over the next month. There's something about when you hear garden, it will make sense as it plays out. I'm swearing by the end of February, everyone understands what garden meant. Now with this, it is two views of the ego in reverse that blend into one. That's why it's in reverse. There is nothing up in the air. It's very written on what plays out in the first few months. All right. Let's go to the Pleiadian Oracle, and then we'll go to the Literary Witches Oracle. What else do we need to know? All right, energy work, all forms, service. You actually have to look at your energy yourself, and when you're out in public, you might actually need to help someone else's energy just a little bit, just the way they react to you. When I'm looking at this card, Ashtar, it's really hard to explain, especially when someone has a mask on because of whatever it is. They're allowed to have a mask on. But in reality, when it comes to energy work and service, and then you see this, you have to be prudent. I feel like this card is a little bit more obscured. It's something all of a sudden people in the public remember. It's not so much EMS. I'm seeing more a mix of the car company Lyft. Something about dream time. Upon a sleep, but awake. You hear it. It will just pop in. When you hear in telepathy, you're going to hear it. And then when you look at it in light and gut, it's something that like stirs up your stomach a little bit. And then that you think like, oh my gosh, like this is imaginary, but really it isn't. It really isn't. Sound codexes. It is exactly how it is when you're looking at this. That's all you need to know. Set your vibration with energy work for the next week. All right. Let's look at this. Okay, There's something about grotesque humor that comes through that is really disgusting through the media, and they talk about it through 219. It's something that comes about out of the dark that you have to pace yourself. It's very point blank. It has to do with a loss. It has to do with justice. It has to be about being alone. It's something of a remembrance about a transformation. So when you look at this and you say, whoa, it's looking around and look how your animals are intuitively reacting to everyone and everything and energy. For example, mine, when energy kicked up last night, they literally all jumped up at the same time, though no one was around. That meant throwing out of energy. It is a mastery that comes in. It is fated. It's not documented what would happen. It is trickery. It is something that you would have to go down memory lane. I do see writing in a book, a laugh. It's like a hun dun lun pun gun for fun. Literally, anyone who sees like Evil Eye or Eye of Horus understands it. This is part of grotesque humor. There's cobwebs in the ceiling valve that will know it. When you look at it, it's how everyone actually looks at everything. You can't even believe it. Can't even believe it. Highly devoted. Highly devoted. Pond. When I'm looking at pond, I'm seeing the reflection pool, but I'm seeing the memorial on how it's so smooth with the names. But when I'm looking at the sidewalk on how it is weathered, I'm going towards the Washington Memorial. And then when I look at it, I want to go up the steps to go look out, but I can't. So when I go down, I see a cutout of energy, and then I see the museums, and it's a stop, stand still, and you got to look at Ford's Theater. It has to do with Abraham Lincoln. So that is where this energy cut through. It's something about being brave, and it's a wit fun. And when I'm seeing this, it's all like this peacock is all glorious knoll. It's something in the back of the head, for lack of a better term, that has happened before. So let's talk about the release of MLK. It has to do with health and toxicity. Oh, I don't know where that came from. That came out fast. Holy cow. Holy cow. All right. Let's look at this. Tarot of Sacred Kingdoms. What do we need to know about that? It has to do with justice. It has to do with the Seven of Cups. It has to see all the options. So when I'm looking at MLK, he was truly pivotal because he was so contained and so at calm and so at peace that it was something that was a playful word, but he showed how you could still make justice by being peaceful and still adherent to all rights. So when you see this and you see the Ten of Pentacles, there is a loss of a gain that was meant to be solidified. And I see the paperwork, but this Seven of Cups again comes through. And I see it's not to be known, NOWN. You're not going to have the best of judgment it's like this energy with the Pentagon and all the memorials all flowing through so hard. It's going to just come about and happen right there. All right. So when I see the Knight of Wands, it's not going to be the best of a start. The Page of Pentacles actually says it was quite like an offering getting to that. This energy that cracked through is from 1879, like solid, blocked door, locked. Five of Swords comes in and says, it's like they're talking right at Ford's Theater, Abraham Lincoln, his wife, and how it's supposed to play out. And it says, I mean, do you really want to go down that road? No, I don't think you should go down that road. Maybe you should actually like divorce. Maybe you should split up. And then when you actually see the Ten of Swords, you have to say, it really is no finality, but it is a GUNF. So when I see the Sun, it was happiness at that moment. Now I look at, and I see him speaking German. Someone speaking German. He was in his right mind. He was in his right mind, though he was pointing to his left. I'm seeing a line right through the parietal. I'm seeing how this went into Abraham Lincoln's deep dive tonight. I see seafood. I see fish. I see tea, English tea. I see lavender. I see the knife. It was something like a dagger. It was steel, but really it was silver. There's something about on the table about how the Civil War was about vampires. There was something about a nasty, and I don't know why I keep wiggling my foot. This is the Empress in reverse. It literally means there was still nasty female energy. This is opaque energy, like collusion. The Four of Pentacles, there's no securement when it's opaque energy through the air flowing through. It's very odd that it's in the winter here in the current date and time. Usually it's in the like spring and summer that flowers. So when I see this, the Ten of Cups, there's a type of family that's happy. I'm seeing it across the globe where that flowed through from an Africa. I don't know why I hear Opanga. Emperor energy, solid masculine energy, true male energy, closed off at 1879. Ace of Wands, that is how it all starts, on a bang. So with that being said, we're going to end it for tonight because I am quite drained from that. We'll look through the crystal quartz on what else needs to come out of that, since we broke through a little bit of hidden energy. The Nine of Pentacles means just continue being prudent when chiseling away on trying to find out what is true and what is not, even in your own look-ins. All right. Now, as it goes to Mary Todd, that you can't see it like continuing education, it is SEA Port Winlifred Dunn Cummings Ford Theater Fifth Fourth None. It was a type of very type of black magic that occurred during the night of the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. That was a type of role. It was not like cat's cradle that they use. Candle in the wind. Candle in the wind actually uses a yellow candle, a purple candle, a red candle, and a gold candle with a pentacle coin. And then you have black salt, but they use black reloading powder that I can see. And when they did it, they mixed it with tea like the Patriot movie, and they drank it, and you could see it like a bundling bag sewn. And then they had nasty GI symptoms, and that's all you need to know. That came out really hard and fast. So with that being said, that's all. I'm stopping it right there. We'll do a deep dive as soon as I can settle down with it. We'll talk to you guys soon. Any questions or concerns, leave a comment or an email, a like, and a share, and we'll talk to you next week. Have a good night, everyone.